to our top 10 quick comic picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can order this week. They are coming out this Wednesday, and I mean, you'll just have to wait because this is a big one.
Yeah, you're going to want these.
You're going to want to head over to infinityflux.net right now. These are up for order. And yeah, without further ado.
Yeah, we are going to start with Absolute Batman #1. I feel like you guys know the drill on this one at this point. Don't really need to say too much. This is the first book in the all-new Absolute universe. This is Batman, this is Bruce Wayne, but he's younger. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the Batcave. He doesn't have the butler, but he is still Batman. He is up against the Party Animals, which is a gang that's been terrorizing Gotham City. Alfred is the factor in this, but he is not Batman's butler. He's an MI6 agent that has been sent there to get intel on these Party Animals. There is a lot more to this that I definitely don't want to talk about. I don't want to spoil it, but this book is amazing.
Yep.
One of the best books I've read all year. You definitely want to get this as soon as you can because it's sold out at the distributor level. It's going to sell out in stores because it really is that good.
Well, first up for me, I have Blade Red Band #1. Now, this is usually it's polybagged, but I had to open this one to read it. This is by Brian Hill and C.F. Villa on the art. And this is cool. This is in continuity. It takes place after the events of Blood Hunt, where Blade has now kind of sent himself into exile to, just clear his name and get his head on straight. But of course, he cannot stay gone too long before some group of mysterious characters comes calling, looking for him because they have a job. It seems like one of their own people went out to stop this big vampire leader, but instead of stopping him, became one and became that leader and is now doing experiments.
Ooh.
And they want Blade to come and stop him. There's a lot more to it than that. This is Blade Red Band, so it's a little extra violent, but I would say the cover is probably the most violent part of it, but we'll have to see as the series goes on. But this was a really fun issue.
Well, next is Sentinels #1. This is our next From the Ashes era X-Men related book. And this is about these sort of paramilitary unit here. They're army veterans who have been enhanced with Sentinel technology, but it kind of looks like nanotech. They are sent out on a mission at the beginning of the book to take out a very familiar bad guy mutant. I don't want to say who it is, but it's really cool. So it gives us a nice glimpse at what they can do, what this technology allows them to do. But later on, we see that maybe this technology isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe there's still some bugs. Maybe it's still too new to be used on humans yet. And we see all the crazy stuff that they have to go through in order to have this power.
Next up, one I was very excited about. This is Star Wars Ewoks #1. This is going to be a mini-series set after the events of Return of the Jedi. And what I didn't realize, this kind of runs concurrently with the new Star Wars Battle of Jakku Insurgency Rising. It actually shares some of like the main villain in it. So you can read this right alongside that, and it kind of builds out the current status of the world. But in this, we have a general named Koyada, who, now the Empire has fallen. They're still remaining. They're still trying to get back up on their feet. And to get himself back in the good graces, he says, hey, back on Endor, we left a big cache of weapons. Let me go back and get it and kind of prove to the Empire that I'm still worth keeping around. So he's going to do that. Meanwhile, all the Ewoks, and you can read them. They don't just make noises. They have text and everything, are trying to decide, hey, it kind of worked out that we worked with the rebellion and stopped the Empire. They have their own names for them and everything. But should we still be as welcoming to outsiders? And it's kind of a choice they have to make. But, pretty soon some outsiders are going to come calling. And we do also have a really fun kind of outsider Ewok named Midro in this, who's a real tough cookie. And he knows more about how the world works outside of Bright Tree Village. This is really, really fun. It's got action, it's got adventure, everything. I definitely suggest picking it up.
Well, next we've got the Ultimates #5, and this is the first appearance of this universe's version of Hawkeye. He's actually a young man named Charlie Ramsey. He picks up the bow and arrow and the costume that Tony Stark left for that universe's Clint Barton when Clint Barton rejected that life. And he is kind of acting like an eco-terrorist, blowing up oil refineries and things like that. So Captain America goes to confront him, and a lot of the issue is the two of them fighting against each other. It's really cool. We do see how somebody with a bow and arrow could actually be a threat. The weapons that he uses are very cool. So yeah, a great
He has Stark Tech versions of a bow and arrow, and
yeah,
it's really cool.
yeah. So another great issue of Ultimates, and I really like this new Hawkeye.
Next up, we have the Terminator #1. This is a new one from Dynamite. This was really fun. It seems like, at least for right now, all the issues are going to be pretty standalone stories as we have Terminators being sent throughout time to stop what will become either kind of rebellion leaders against Skynet and maybe even their forebearers. Like, how far back can we stop this line from attacking us? And in this one, we meet an elderly couple in Alaska who suddenly get attacked by a Terminator. But why do they know this was going to eventually come? It jumps back in time to the 70s, and we find out the full story about how this Terminator's been hunting them for many, many years. It was really fun, and I love it's a one and done story.
Well, next we've got Action Comics number 1070. This is the first issue of this book in the All In era. This is a fantastic jumping on point if you've been wanting to read some really cool Superman stories. In this one, three Kryptonians break out of the Phantom Zone, but they're oddly merged into one body, and it takes Superman and Supergirl and somebody else's help to stop them. And then afterwards, Superman realizes that he needs to journey into the Phantom Zone to figure out what the heck is going on there and why did this happen. There's also a backup story with Supergirl, which is really cool too. So a wonderful issue of Action Comics, a great jumping on point, and this is going to be weekly for the next 3 months. So very, very cool.
Next up, we have Conquest 2099, the next big part in the 2099 saga that's been going for a while with Steve Orlando. But this one is really cool because it feels kind of like a bigger event as Dracula 2099, who we saw in the past couple of volumes of this series, has been wanting to rebuild his vampire world and army and all of that. But he doesn't really seem that dangerous. He just wants to go back and reclaim their home planet. But when he gets there, he finds that his family and the ones he left behind there have been destroyed. And it may be related to a spider like character that maybe he's going to start hunting down now. We'll have to see. Plus, we do get some Spider Man 2099 in this, teamed up with X Men 2099 and the debut, I believe, of Spider Woman 2099, who may tie this whole story together.
Well, last for me is the Green Lantern Civil Core Special. And this is kind of merges the story that's being told in Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run with the story that was told in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Green Lantern War Journal. It's setting up some big things to come for the current run of Green Lantern. It is part of the new All In era, which is supposed to be a good jumping on point for new readers. I kind of feel like if you haven't been reading Green Lantern, you might be quite a bit confused with everything's going on in this. But if you've been reading Green Lantern, which I highly recommend because it's great, then this is the starting point for a new big grand story that they're going to tell, and it's really, really cool. So Green Lantern fans are definitely going to want to check this out.
And that has the return of some longtime fan favorite characters that have been missing for a while.
Absolutely.
And lastly, for me, I have Exceptional X-Men #2. I really like this book. I don't know if this X-Men book is for everybody, but I love Kitty Pryde. I love the character development she's had over the years, and I feel like this is a really good spotlight on that. As she, after the Krakoan stuff, just wants kind of nothing to do with mutant or mutant-related things. She just wants to live a normal life, and she for sure does not want to be in a mentor role to any young mutants, but it looks like she's going to find herself in that position once again, whether she likes it or not. We get some new characters in this. I believe one is called Axo, and there's a couple of others that we meet in here that now seem like she may need to help them before a certain Emma Frost gets to them first. It's really fun. The art's really good, and it's a fun kind of slice of life meets X-Men title that I thought this was a really great issue. And that is it for our top 10 quick comic picks. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can order these books while supplies last. It's going to be a big week. We
Mhm.
also have the Superman card that's going to come with your orders of Absolute Batman if you can get in there while supplies last, of course. So don't miss out on
Yep.
any of the good stuff, and stay tuned for our longer video coming up where we're going over these, plus their variants, and a bunch more coming up very soon. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see
See ya.
ya.